joining us in studio now, Trooper Brooks David.
Yes, time to get serious.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, let's just start with the most important stuff. How are the puppies? Because this is all that I hear. This is all that I hear, not nonstop. Brooks's dog had puppies. Bernie is one of the adoptive moms, and this is all I hear about. I'm so ready for her to get the dog and be tired of the dog, so I stop hearing about the dog.
They're great.
I don't even think he pays attention to him, to the puppies.
Yeah.
Because all I ever hear is, I don't know, Hope told me this.
Yes.
I'm supposed to show you this.
Hope got there.
Yeah, it's got it under control.
I'll text her and see how they do.
If you have a question for Brooks David while he's in studio this morning, 232-1542 is the number, 232-1542. Now, Bernie brought this up earlier, and I feel like we keep talking about the buses.
Because it was one way for so long, and then, the legislature changed it? Who changed it?
They have the authority to change the laws, yes. Yeah.
So, and then they messed it up for everybody, because now nobody knows what to do.
So we talked about
half the people stopped and half the people didn't, and then I didn't know what to do.
When you have a median, when you have a median or a turn lane, such as Ambassador Caffrey,
right,
the whole way down, does the other opposite side of traffic need to stop when a bus is stopped?
So we know the opposite side does not have to stop. We know that.
Well,
and
Bernie,
your wife
you're about
knows
to
that.
You're about to just make it very confusing. So I just want to get everyone up to speed with one thing before you mentioned your little niche problem.
I don't know. I just wanted to ask.
Okay, go for it.
So what happens if you're in the turning lane or you're in the turning lane? Yesterday this happened to us, and of course I get in trouble for backseat driving. I'm sitting in the front seat. I don't know how I get in trouble for backseat driving.
Passenger seat driver.
Passenger seat driving. And so we are in the turn lane. We're merging into the left-hand turn lane on Ambassador Caffrey, and this bus is on the far right lane of Ambassador Caffrey. So I'm like, what do we do? Do we stop? Do we not stop? What do we do, Brooks? What do we do?
If you're in a turning lane, if it's a multi-lane highway and they have a continuous turn lane, you have to stop.
Okay, that's what I figured. So we stopped because we don't want to make anybody mad. And it's not like it lasted
or
that
injure
long.
Any kids, more importantly.
Okay, that's the most important
part.
Come
on, Bernie.
Yes, I understand.
That's what she had meant to say.
That's what I meant to say. The people on the opposite side, one lady stopped, and the other people kept going. Because people are just still confused. It's crazy.
Yeah, they need to keep going.
Okay. So if you're on the opposite side on the multi-lane highway, you can keep going because there's the divider of the turn lane.
Correct.
Okay. I think I got it. And if you're in the turning lane, you should stop as well.
You have to stop.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're required to stop. See, that wasn't that painful.
Okay, Bernie. All right.
I mean,
so as we sort of move to where the buses may not be on the roads, once we sort of get into summer, we have altogether different issue. People out on the waterways, people out at pools, people at parties. The rate of drinking and driving, I would imagine, goes up. What is the summertime like for you working the roads in Acadiana with accidents around this time?
I tell you, for us, it doesn't stop. I talked about this morning on the TV. Is we see our worst month for fatal crashes is May over the last couple of years. We cannot see no rhyme or reason for it. It's not like it's younger high school kids that are dying at a higher rate than college kids or adults. But for the last couple of months, say 2014, we had 10 fatal crashes with 15 deaths in May. In 2015, we had 11 fatal crashes with 15 deaths. So we're asking parents, this month, sit down with your kids that are driving. Let them know about distractions. When we talk about distractions, we're not just talking about cell phones. We're talking about other passengers inside the vehicle, cell phone usage, radios, everything that goes on inside that vehicle they need to know about.
Don't be putting on your makeup while you're driving down the roadway.
Guys eating a cheeseburger, whatever it might be. Seatbelt usage is a priority, and it's a must, and it's everybody inside of that vehicle that must be wearing them. If they're not wearing them, don't move the vehicle. Impairment, is a big thing, and it's not only alcohol. It's over-the-counter medicines, prescribed medications. if they're taking that and taking, drinking alcohol, whatever it might be, a mixture of things. Let them know how important that is, that they can't move that vehicle, to make that right choice and not get behind the wheel. Let them know that they can count on you to go pick them up. Mm-hmm. They might have that go-to person that they call. It might not be you. It might be an aunt, a good friend, whatever it might be. But you would rather see them get home safe that evening or whatever, and y'all discuss whatever choice they made that next morning. But it's better than having to bury your child. Mm-hmm. So we're asking them, and adults, you're an adult. You need to make that adult decision, to make that choice before you go out or whatever it is you do, to get that designated driver before.
All right, if you have a question for Trooper Brooks David, the number 232-1542. We'll take a call before we get to our first break here. 232-1542. Good morning. You're on Acadiana's Morning News.
Good morning. Can Trooper David clarify what the ruling is on, can you stop and let a vehicle into traffic, like if he wants to get in the opposite lane from where you're going?
Okay, thank you.
No, sir. You're not allowed to stop on a roadway at all. So what'll happen is, if you stop to let somebody in and somebody rear ends you, you can be cited because you stopped on the roadway. Now, if you stop to allow somebody to go and you allow that person to go and say they get hit or somebody else gets hit, now you're involved in something totally different where you might be, and you wave them to come and say it's clear, and this person gets hit, then you might be put in a crash report, and then now you're tied up in civil litigation and just all kind of stuff that you don't want to be tied up in. So never stop on a highway and allow a vehicle or wave a vehicle through. Now, you're not allowed, you shouldn't block private driveways and stuff like that. People have to have access to go through. If they're turning from an opposite direction, that shouldn't be blocked. But you should never, ever stop in a roadway just to allow people to exit from that roadway. People call it a courtesy or whatever it might be, but you have to let that traffic keep flowing.
And so many people take things into their own hands. I just recently, driving over to New Orleans a couple of days ago, there was a lane that was closed, okay? And so traffic was backed up about a half a mile to get to it. Well, so the people who were coming around in what is going to be a closed lane just to get all the way up into it to merge.
You had don't
some,
you?
That was not me. I'm not. It's not me.
I'm messing with you.
Anyway, you had the people who were taking it upon themselves to straddle the lane.
Yeah.
So that people could not pass by. But then it was causing more problems because the people who were going to pass by anyway were going on the shoulder. And it's like it was every time someone was coming, going
Stressful.
like 50, it was like someone's going to go off the road, So, I mean, yes, it's annoying when you're following the law and, you're following what you see ahead, a lane closure, so you're in the open lane. But there are people that just keep on passing you. It's just frustrating.
Well, and people don't realize if they would do what they're supposed to do and merge when it says to merge, the traffic would flow a whole lot smoother and go a whole lot faster, because you're having to back up traffic when all these people that are taking the shoulder are waiting till the last minute, way up at the end where it merges. Everybody has to come to a stop to allow one vehicle in and another vehicle in, and it just takes up too much time.
Drive defensively. That's what I always say. If you don't drive defensively, then there's always a chance,
That's correct.
I will not let those people in.
Oh, me either. Oh, no.
I just do not let you in.
Me either.
And if the light is green, I'm going. I'm sorry. I don't want to be, it's not that I don't want to be courteous to you, but the light is green.
Yep.
I'm going.
You're going to get your green light.
Now, if I see that the light has already turned red, what's going to happen? I'm going to go putt-putt, or I am going to stop, which is a violation of law. I get it. If I'm not up to, the intersection yet. But I don't wave you or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even look at you. You have to figure out from the context clues what I want you to do.
All right, Bernie. 232-1542. We're going to take a quick break real quick.
All right.
We'll get back. We'll come back to the next caller. We have Trooper Brooks David in studio with us from Louisiana State Police. Stay right there. Good Tuesday morning as you're getting ready for work and school. Maybe you're sitting in traffic right now and you're about to make a bad choice. Just make the good choice. Trooper Brooks David from Louisiana State Police joining us in studio this morning. on the phone with us at 232-1542. Good morning. You're on Acadiana's Morning News.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is an odd question, but when you're driving, like, on the back roads and stuff, what if, like, a animal runs out in front of you, you try and swerve? Can you be cited if you do that?
If you get in a crash?
Well, not in a crash, but, like, when you're driving and, like, them possums run out in front of you real quick, if you try and swerve to keep from hitting it, or it's an odd question.
Well,
Can you be cited?
Yes, by law you can be cited. I mean, I would never want to take a direct, how can I say it, evasive action and possibly lose control of my vehicle for a small animal as a possum or such, a dog or anything like that. I know I'm an animal lover also. Mm-hmm. However, you are possibly going to lose control of that vehicle and hit the ditch, injuring yourself or your passengers for a possum. You have to drive on the right side of the roadway as much as possible, and you're not allowed to move that vehicle to the left, leaving that lane of travel, even though there is no markable or white or yellow dash line on a 2-lane highway. Now, if it was you drive up on a horse or a cow, that would be something totally different. But you can be cited if you tell the police that I swerved to miss a small animal. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for that question. The one thing my dad told me when I first got my driver's license, and of course this will make sense to the two of you since you know me so well. He's like, I am so afraid that you are going to die in a crash because you swerved to miss a bunny.
Yeah.
And so ever since that time, and I was 15 years old, ever since that time, I was like, okay, I get it, Dad. I totally get it. But I had never thought about that scenario. And so once.
Oh, gosh.
The bunny died.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I mean, and I understand, but you got to look at the reality of it.
Otherwise, I would have gone off into a ditch, and it was a huge ditch. I would have.
If you lose control of that
died.
vehicle, and it just, and those country ditches are pretty big and pretty steep, and you hit that, the forces of that crash are a lot greater than you just running over a possum and maybe putting a dent in your bumper at the most. So I understand there's animal lovers out there too, but you need to love yourself and your passengers enough to understand that.
Yep. And you really need to think through that scenario.
We'll take one more call as we wrap up with Trooper Brooks David. Good morning, KPEL.
Good morning. I want to comment on this earlier call just now because, and another thing after, but basically I swerved once to avoid a deer and I ended up rolling my car 3 or 4 times down the interstate early one morning up in North Texas. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a reaction sometimes, not a conscious decision to swerve off. But the reason I called is on Bassett Caffrey right now in Broussard, kind of where that new construction is towards Morgan Street. There's emergency vehicles. There's a truck that left the road, some type of accident, and it splits up on its side.
Okay.
And that's a good point for the program that the state troopers have been putting on, trying to get the truckers to buckle up. And I just want to ask them about that program and how things are going with that.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. Appreciate it. So both scenarios, people that, have big rigs buckling up, number one, and being careful. And number two, regular pickup truck drivers. I know there's been a campaign for several years to make sure those folks are buckling up because their rates of compliance have traditionally been lower.
Yeah, it's a lot lower. And we see it as troopers in the outlining areas of the parishes that pickup truck drivers are dying at a higher rate because that's what we see in outlining areas, in St. Landry Parish and other parishes, that young men, teenagers, are riding in pickup trucks. And we all know that young men take more chances than young women. And, you're 75% more likely to survive a crash with your seatbelt on. Mm-hmm. So there is a campaign that's going to start, and it's where I don't like using the word target because I look at it, if you're not wearing a seatbelt in a truck and you're not wearing it in a car, it's the same thing to me.
Sure.
But we want to let people know about the lower percentage rate and the lower usage of, and especially to parents, pickup truck drivers that are not wearing their seatbelts. And for some reason they think that they are safer because they're higher off the ground and, you know, you have this big engine in the front of you and these big tires. Well, that doesn't matter. It makes it a whole lot easier for that vehicle to overturn. And these teenagers and young men are getting ejected out of these vehicles. So you'll probably see a lot of traffic stops with pickup trucks in these rural areas. And there's not a lot of people out there. So they think if they get in a crash, you know, the forces of that crash is not going to be bad. Well, you know, at 35 miles an hour, you can get ejected out of a vehicle.
Yeah, and the laws of physics don't change.
That's right. And you'll get ejected out and you'll die, possibly, you know, or be seriously injured. So the campaign is starting off, and it's going to be every law enforcement agency in the state and around the nation. So you'll see it. I know I saw Lafayette PD's kicking it off and some other agencies. So we just want our compliance rate to be 100, and we want our death rate to be 0. And until that happens, we're not going to be satisfied because we don't think anybody should die in a preventable crash. It's from something as simple as putting on a seatbelt. So we want everybody to do it. It's not about the fine. You know, anybody can pay that fine.
Sure.
It's about saving someone's life and dying in a preventable crash, you know.
Trooper Brooks David every Tuesday morning in the 7 o'clock hour. Thanks for getting up early with us.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it. 7:32.
Take
Bernie
care
has.
of my pup.
Oh yeah, take care of the pup. I'm tired of hearing it. Please take care of the pup. If anything happens to that pup, I'm never going to hear the end of it.
I'm just going to say right now, real quick, 7:32 in the morning. He has nothing to do with it. Hope, thank you so much, and to Cooper and Tucker.